in terms of how I got to where I am now, I've been cooking for a long time. I started working in kitchens in high school as a job. I started washing dishes and prepping food. And pretty quickly, a chef that I worked for asked me one day when somebody wasn't in the kitchen if I could cook because someone didn't show up or something. I said, oh, sure, I can do that. And I think at about 15, I started cooking in kitchens, and I pretty much have been doing it my whole life. And I've done other things as well, but I always went back to cooking. So I would sometimes do it seasonally and do landscaping in the summer and get my hands dirty and that kind of thing. But I would always go back to cooking. I had a chance to do well and locally here in Minneapolis as a chef. We have 3 restaurants now. I've had Alma here where we're sitting for over 10 years now. So, but one part of my perspective on food is also my connection to my father's garden as a kid. And although it was just work as a kid, going to dig up carrots or pull lettuce or to turn the compost, as I spent time in New York, I was out there for about 6 years working in the green markets out there and visiting farmers that were growing for restaurants that I worked at. I realized that I had some roots in that more than I even realized as a young person, and my interest just grew from there. So by the time I got back to Minneapolis, I was very focused on building a small restaurant. I could focus on local food, seasonal cooking, and hopefully organic. The biggest problems with the perception of local food, organic food, is that somehow it's a privilege thing, that it's about fancy and or it's kind of like a hippie thing. Oh, you guys are just like tree huggers or something silly like that, Meanwhile, I think those of us who are intimate with it and know it realize that it's got nothing to do with that. This isn't about boutique ingredients or about being better than anybody or even we're trying to save the world. I mean, I think a lot of that is out of the equation. People say it's just better. It keeps money in the community. You have fresher food. You have higher quality food. You have safer food because it's from smaller producers that don't have the problems of industrial. Huge opportunity to bring, even if it's just basic things like I said, like cheese, flour, beans, eggs, into food programs for children, pre-K schools, and get high nutrition food to young children. And it can be inexpensive. So I think there's a way to make it all make sense. And I was at a land stewardship meeting a few months ago, and someone from the Rosemount School District was talking about they bought 2,000 pounds of carrots from local farmers that year. And I thought that was amazing that these schools that were doing in-house cooking and doing more and more of it were able to bring local food in. Potatoes, carrots, eggs, you name it, and that's amazing. Those little changes, just like little restaurants doing this, but feeding 2,000 kids a day versus serving 100 diners a day. That's a lot of mouths, and it's going to have a huge impact on supporting local farmers and keeping money in the economy and all the things that make this all work. I think having somewhat of a moderate approach, even though your goal is very, very, focused and without, a lot of room for, the end goal that's very, encompassing in terms of organic and local. I think the road there does have to be extreme. And I think with a more moderate approach, more people come with you and they say, yeah, that is better. And they don't feel ashamed that they can't buy organic all the time. They feel that it's okay to do, some, and they can't do all. And I think that's an important part of it moving forward. It's kind of making it inclusive versus exclusive.